Welcome to the New York Outlook for Thursday, the 16th of November 2023. I'll start with USDCAD and explain the developments from the morning and then the plan of attack for today, if any. What you can see is when we started the morning, we just about wicked that and we were considering shorts but had this barrier to consider. We also recognize the fact that a secondary OB was created, and when price came into it, there was a reason to continue longs. Subsequent to that, we reacted from this 4H OB and went into our worm, which now presents opportunities to short. However, if we analyze what had happened on the 5-minute, what you can see is the Asia range was quite large, and when price came back into this OB, neither side of the Asia range was swept, making it quite a high risk trade to consider trading long from here. I thus did not take any trades from here with the objective of taking longs because of that particular reason. We also did not consider shorts because again neither side of the Asia range was swept. Also, my data for USD CAD suggests that relying on a pre-Asia or Asia high of the day, low of the day is less probable than on other pairs, hence why my strategy does not cater for that. Coming into New York session, what you can see is the London range is quite extensive. What this essentially means is that we need one side of the London range to be swept prior to considering any entries. I am quite skeptical about trading through this worm. And also we're likely to run out of space in terms of the average daily range, which is somewhere around here. If we just show this on the 4-hour as well, we can just assess where that would bring us to, and that's somewhere in here in these buy to sell wicks right here. In my view, these 4H OBs are not significant. I wouldn't validate this as a flip because in my view what you can essentially see is that we already mitigated this OB had the flip, and the flip is this OB, and this isn't significant whatsoever. It's more so a CPB. It's probably just a level on the 5 or 15 minute, which you can see right here. So it's a 5-minute level that I wouldn't place too much emphasis on. So our possibilities for USDCAD in particular is we can consider looking for a long position based on a potential flip from this with our interim targets here. However, what I would like to see first is what the news release brings for what's the release for today for unemployment claims for the USD. Based on that assessment, we can evaluate how we want to fade the news. However, I'm not too confident about price moving significantly, but we will reassess when the news come out. Moving to the other pair that I've been considering trading for today, which was EURUSD. Similar situation to the morning. We're still in the ERL continuation momentum phase. We have lots of IRL to target, and we have created a primary leg with demand taking control. Prior to the London lull, I was considering taking this long position covering the low of the day, using this as liquidity in the leg just because it balances out the stop loss. However, prior to price coming into this OB, what you can see is that you had your chalk level here, and subsequently it was more likely than not that supply had indeed taken control. Based on that, I cancelled the order prior to the lull, and what you can then see is I would have been tagged here, but at this point it's clear as day that supply is in control. What does this mean for our approach for New York? Well, what we can evaluate is how price reacts to these, which are now considered primary leg OBs for the 5 minute. We can look for full order flow validation from these points and reassess how price moves accordingly, as well as taking into account the upcoming news. It's unlikely that order flow is going to shift and give us an entry with a news trigger, so it's just a matter of watching how PA develops. What we can do in the meantime is perhaps mark out the potential chalk levels and primary leg OBs and be aware of how price interacts with it. Obviously, being at New York, our continuation approach requires full order flow validation in terms of demand must hold after the chop before we can consider any entries. In terms of the primary leg, you can see that that all of this is efficiently mitigated, so our only options for primary legs is these two OBs. If New York makes a low of the day with a body break, it's fairly obvious that we got the direction for the day wrong. I think that's the end of my outlook. I don't have anything further to note, and I guess this means that we'll chat again in the end of day review.